Hey everybody, welcome to Fantasy R&R. This is your host Ryan.
And I'm Rob.
Don't you mean Roberto Clemente?
Sir, I'm going to suspend you one podcast, and where I come from, those are fighting words.
I do apologize, I just really thought that you were changing the game.
This is Fantasy with Rob and Ryan, Fantasy R&R.
Alright guys, we're going to do some last calls on players, going around the diamond as usual. We're going to talk about catcher right now, William Contreras on the Atlanta Braves. We did kind of briefly bring him up in the last few podcasts, but this time we're going to get a little bit more into him. Rob, tell us your thoughts right now.
Yeah, what's intriguing is it appears as if Atlanta is going to attempt at getting him playing time in left field. The more the merrier for this guy. Already has 6 home runs in 39 at-bats. Do the math. This guy could be a game changer at catcher. Go get William Contreras before it is too late.
Yeah, it's absolutely interesting because right now he's definitely still eligible in Yahoo at catcher. Only 15% roster because he's not getting a ton of at-bats, but he is outpacing his brother by far in the home run and average department. Last week, batting .364 with 2 home runs. All right, let's talk about first base real quick. Our first base candidate, Christian Walker on the Diamondbacks. Go, Rob.
Yeah, Christian Walker is doing what he did just a few years ago, where a lot of people thought it was an outlier. It is not. He is crushing the ball. He is taking walks, and he's batting cleanup for a middling Arizona team. But right now, he's at 11 home runs. The average is starting to climb up. I believe his expecting batting average is around a 280. So if you're looking for middle infield help or even first base, Matt Olson's struggling, you're looking for something to get you through the next couple of weeks and potentially even the rest of the season, I'm telling you right now, Christian Walker would be a very good play for power.
Absolutely, and right now, yes, his average is down, but in the last week, he is batting a home run every 7 at-bats, so that's going to be something to look towards if you have that stat in need. Second base, Luis Arias of Minnesota.
Yeah, this is a guy who essentially hits and will not stop hitting. He has climbed his way up the Minnesota batting order. It's crazy. In today's game, you're talking about a guy in Arias that has 18 walks to 6 strikeouts. That is correct. 18 walks to 6 strikeouts. This is a guy, if you're looking for average help in Yahoo, he's first, second, third, and left. Position eligibility is elite. I say get him now. Minnesota is a very, very good lineup to hit in, and the ball is going to start flying out there in Minnesota once we get into the summer months.
And he's getting on base a lot. In the last 21 at-bats, batting .476, has 9 runs in a stolen bag plus 4 runs batted in. So check out the Yahoo waiver wire if you can. Only 46% rostered, but up 20% from last week. Shortstop, we're going to be talking about Brendan Donovan on St. Louis. Power lineup.
Yeah, it's a very similar situation. Very good lineup out there in St. Louis. Brendan Donovan's kind of flying under the radar with the likes of Nolan Gorman, Goldschmidt, Arenado. The lineup is just ridiculously deep. So he's batting in the bottom of the lineup, but this guy just won't stop hitting. Get him now. And again, a very elite offense in St. Louis. Brendan Donovan could help you out big time, especially in a shortstop position where it's been kind of middling this year.
Yeah, batting .340 on the season after 50 at-bats. Also eligible at second base and only 16% rostered right now. So almost definitely out there on the waiver wire for you guys. Let's talk about our third base candidate here, Santiago Espinal on Toronto Blue Jays.
Yep, and once again, very similar in the Luis Arias and the Brendan Donovan. The guy just won't stop hitting, is now batting either second or fifth for a very potent Toronto lineup that hasn't started clicking yet. It's, again, only a matter of time. Once that roof is retracted back, Canada, cold. I don't know if you knew that. But it's going to start heating up here soon. Ball's going to be flying. The likes of Bo Bichette, Vladdy Jr., hitting behind him is just going to accumulate tons of runs, especially if he's going to hit the way that he has been hitting so far early in the season.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that's it for the infield. Let's move out to the outfield, the loneliest place in Little League. Mike Yastrzemski, who was a bit of a disappointment last year, and on this Giants team with Kapler looking like he's becoming one of the better managers in the league right now. What are you thinking for Yastrzemski's outlook for the rest of the year?
Yeah, this is a guy who's hitting the ball very hard. He's hitting for average, and now he's taking walks. Generally, those are all great signs for a batter. Again, another really solid lineup out there in San Francisco. I know Brandon Belt just hit the IL again. I know, shocker. So he's been hitting third in that lineup. A few years ago they brought the walls in, so it's not so much a pitcher's park anymore. I say get him anywhere that you possibly can, because it looks like Yaz is going to go under the radar for now. But I have a feeling he could profile as like a top 30 type of outfielder who essentially is, again, under-owned at, I think, under 50% in all lineups leagues right now.
Yeah, absolutely. 40% roster. But guys, this is a large sample size at this point. Over the last month, 59 at-bats, batting .322 with 2 homers, 12 runs, 10 RBIs. He could actually get a couple of stolen bases over the course of the season. Let's talk about Max Kepler on the Twins, another Twin.
Yeah, this is, again, a very potent lineup. This is a guy who's always hit the ball really hard, does have some patience. He is a lefty, so he's prone to striking out against lefties a little bit. Ball's flying early for Max Kepler. Again, that's a very good sign. It's still really cold out in Minnesota. He's hitting in the heart of that lineup. I say get Max Kepler now. A lot of people are probably just kind of used to his up and down play, very similar to Mike Yastrzemski, but get him now before it is too late. Max Kepler, I say, is a must-add this week.
Up 5% from last week, so yeah, there is a little bit of a transaction trend going on in Yahoo specifically. Brandon Nimmo, who started off pretty hot, has kind of come down to earth a little bit again, but now seems to be getting a stable statistical output here. What are you thinking on this Mets roster?
Yep, potent lineup, batting leadoff. Fun fact about Brandon Nimmo, since he has been called up by the New York Mets, he has the 3rd highest OBP, just behind Bryce Harper and Juan Soto. That is very good company, as you should know. Brandon Nimmo could help you out, a little bit of home runs, a little bit of steals, plenty of runs if this Mets lineup stays healthy, which you know is not going to happen. Get him. Get Brandon Nimmo while you can. He's a good baseball player. The injuries are always a risk for him, but snag him before it's too late.
And 54% rostered on the year so far, up 3% from last week. He is kind of taking a little dip in stats, batting about .273 with no homers over the last week. So actually would be a good time to go out and get him on the waiver wire. A lot of people probably aren't looking at him. Let's talk about some starting pitchers, Rob. I'm really excited about this one. This guy had a lot of hype as a rookie coming into the season. Hunter Green, he's kind of, I guess, disappointed a couple of people, but I'm starting to see some flashes of life out there where I actually wanted to drop a couple of my pitchers. I got rid of Kirby and I picked up Hunter Green. Do you think this is a good time to get out on the waiver wire if you need a little bit of pitching help and just, trust in the process for him?
Yeah, very much so. Again, this is another instance of people being impatient. Yeah, he does play for the Reds, so the run support's not going to be there, hence why this guy took an L in a no-hitter, if I'm not mistaken, against Pittsburgh of all teams. But this guy has got a crazy strikeout rate. Had a couple bumpy outings where people just started dropping him, and now he's had back-to-back really solid outings. I say snag him. Guy has universal talent, and I think he's going to be an ace for Cincinnati for years to come.
Yeah, and only 43% rostered. And what's interesting is he's not getting the win, so don't count on that if you're in a stats league. But he's getting a lot of Ks over 9 innings pitched, and his ERA, the last 3 games, 3.38, 1.23, and a 1.50. Whip under 1.5 for all of them, so it looks like he's starting to turn it on. And his next start is going to be against the Cubs early in the morning, 9:35 a.m. on May 26th. So we'll see what happens with Hunter Green. Very excited to have him on my roster right now. Bailey Ober on the Twins.
Yep, pitching for a great lineup again in Minnesota. I can't say that enough. He got injured. I think a lot of people just kind of dumped him really quick. This is a big prospect for Minnesota. Came back and pitched a gem. I think he's going to continue doing so. See if somebody's impatience, let alone maybe stupidity for not ILing the guy when he got injured. See if he's on that waiver wire, because he's going to make a really good run this year. I got a good feeling about it. Got a good mix with his pitches, and they've been talking about him for quite some time now.
Yeah, 24.2 innings pitched on the season, 20 Ks, 2.55 ERA, 1.14 whip, only 48% rostered. And a lot of our veterans out there right now are pitching high 3 to 4 ERA counts, and guys like Bieber and Wheeler have kind of been a little underwhelming this year so far. So it's not the worst thing in the world to maybe bench one of those guys on a rough matchup and go with Ober instead. All right, last starting pitcher here, Ronzi Contreras on Pittsburgh. Hard team to convince people to pick up, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of more of a speculative ad. This was a top prospect in the New York Yankees organization, which is always a good sign. He's getting the start, I believe, today, so we'll see what happens. But, just something exciting to keep your eyes out on. Again, Pittsburgh's offense is terrible, but good pitchers are good pitchers. So it'll be interesting to see what he does today. Just a speculative ad for this week for sure.
Absolutely, and only has a small sample size for this season. 7.2 innings pitched, 10 Ks, 3.52 ERA. But as you said, he's going to start today against Rockies, but not in Rockies Park, so no worries there. Last guy on our list is going to be Clay Holmes on the Yankees. I'm a little bit miffed that Clark Schmidt hasn't been getting a whole lot of relief time because this dude is nasty. But tell us what you're thinking about Clay Holmes.
Yeah, Clay Holmes, man. I mean, he's pitching brilliantly this year. Aroldis Chapman is just another year older. He's been struggling. He now has this Achilles injury, which they're saying the x-rays came back negative, but he has been pitching terribly this season. Father Time looks like it has been catching up to Aroldis Chapman. This could be the Yankees' closer of the future. I strongly recommend getting him anywhere. I know he is over 50% owned, but I think this guy should be universally the way he's pitching. I believe it's an ERA under 1, a whip under, I think, a 0.4 or something like that. This guy is pitching very, very well. Needs to be owned universally.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, he is 70% roster at this point, but that's a 17% jump from last week. Guys, 21.2 innings pitched, has 4 wins on the season in that time, 4 saves, 21 Ks, an ERA of 0.42, whip of 0.69. All right, and that's going to do it. Once again, this is Robin Ryan with Fantasy R&R. We will see you next time.